Now I'm going to start adding some HTML elements inside our left half and inside our right half. Inside the left half section, I'm going to put an H2. An H2 with a class equals title. And then I'm going to put 3 H3s, each with an icon inside it. The class equals material icons, because we're going to put some icons in here. Just like that. Inside each of those icons, I want you right now to pick 3 different icons. To do that, you're going to go to material.io/tools/icons, which I will paste into Slack for you. So you have 3 tasks here. The first is to give your application a tagline. I called it title here, but a tagline. So my app is called Connection, right? Connection app or whatever. So I need to make a tagline about connection or connecting. So I'm going to say something like, connect with your friends and the world around you. But you can pick whatever tagline you want. Then I want you to pick 3 icons here. And each of these icons is going to be something like stars. And if you go to here, you can find the stars one by filtering by name. You can look up stars. And you should see an icon with stars if they have. Oh, there it is. Cool. So there's my stars icon. Or maybe you like the outlined version, or the rounded version, or the two-tone version, the sharp version. You're going to pick whichever one you like the most. And if you don't like that icon, just exit out and look up some cool ones. See which one you like the most. Put 3 of them here and give each of them a small tagline that goes with that icon. Something like, share what's new in your life on Connection, or whatever you named your app. And so I want you to come in here right now, find 3 icons, come up with a tagline, and give each icon a nice little, let's say like phrase that goes along with it that talks about what your app is about. So take a few minutes, do that right now. If you need any help, I'll come around and help you with it. So I have already found 2 other new icons I'm going to use. I'm going to use this one called List Alt, and this one called Device Hub. Now the way I found them is I came into here, and I typed in the word device, and I found one that said Device Hub on it. I like this one. This one looks nice. You can use the outline one if you want, or the rounded one. I just went with the Device Hub. It looks like this. You can pick pretty much anything that you think looks nice and come up with a tag name on it. So I said Device Hub. Cool. Come in here and say, find more of what you're looking for. Bing. So again, I'm just picking an icon and adding a tagline that goes along with it. So I'll say something like, see what your friends think in your news feed. Food. Feed. There we go. And I have 3 taglines that go with 3 icons. This is what you want. It doesn't really matter what you put for those taglines. You just want 3 taglines, each with its own icon. So total, if I put it all on a couple lines so it's easier to see, you have an H3 that starts here, that ends here, and inside the H3 you have an icon that you chose. So for this first one, I chose the List Alt, and then a tagline that goes with it. See what your friends think in your newsfeed. Now this is the whole left half of my page, and right now if I were to save this and look at it, it's not going to look very nice. It's going to look something like this. Actually, that looks okay. Not great, but we can do better with this. But for the time being, that's all right. I'm okay with it. Now back in our index.html, we want to add a few extra pieces to it that I think are going to make it look a little nicer. The first is that I probably want to give these H3s a little bit of space, because I told all the H3s to have margin 0 and H2s. And so to change that in my style.css, I'm going to do a little bit more in the main section. I'm going to say dot left half dot title, which is the H2. I want it to have a margin of 2% on the top and bottom and 0 on the left and right. And for my left half H3s, I want them all to have a margin on top and bottom of 5%. So I would say margin 5% on the top and bottom and 0 on the left and right. And if you save that, it should space them out just enough to make it look a little nicer. Okay, cool. I'm fine with that for now. Yeah, sure. Let me go back to the code. I got you. So this is all I did. I added these 2 extra lines of CSS here. I put some margin on the top and bottom of my H2 and my H3s so that it spaces them out a little bit and they look a little bit nicer. Now I feel like my left half is pretty solid, so I'm going to head back to the right half, and I'm going to put a sign up section in the right half. To do that, I'm going to put an H1 in there. That H1 is going to say sign up. And below that, I'm going to have an H4 that says it's free and always will be. Bam. Ooh, that's a nice tagline. And below that, I'm going to put a form. That form is going to allow people to sign up. So if I want people to sign up, I'm going to need 5 inputs for them. An input here. And I want 5 of them. 1, 2. So actually, I only want 4 inputs and a button. Like this. That button is going to have a type equals submit. And it's going to say sign up in it. Now at this point, my right half is actually pretty solid. This is almost exactly what I want. I just need to give the inputs some information so they look nice. Oh, I also want people to sign up with Gmail, huh? So I probably need one more thing down there. Just a section to allow them to authenticate with Gmail also. So right below the form, I'm going to put a horizontal rule and then a paragraph tag that says, or authenticate with Google, and put a non-breaking space, and then put another button that should have, what did we do before? Last time we used the icon, right? For the button? Yeah, something like that. G. And I feel pretty good about that. So I'm going to pause it right here. You can copy all this down. Now, right now, if I save this, this won't look very good. It looks like this, and that's not exactly what I want. I have no idea what these inputs are for. There's no way to figure it out. They're not styled very nicely. So I'm going to change it up, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Are you ready? We're going to add some HTML and some CSS to this pretty quickly. Here's what we're going to do. For each of these inputs, I'm going to give each input a class equals and a placeholder equals. Like this. I'm also going to give them a name equals. Every single input should have this. Should have a class equals, a placeholder equals, and a name equals. For these first 2, I'm going to give them the same thing. Sort of. It's going to say, this one's going to be class equals half input for both of them. Because they're going to take up half the amount of space of the total form. And the placeholder is going to say first name. And the name is going to be first underscore name. And this is going to say last name. And this one's going to say last underscore name. So go ahead and fill that in right now inside the form. That's exactly right, Jimmy. The next 2 are going to be email and password. So right here, we're going to put the same thing as we did before. This class equals, placeholder equals, name equals. But instead of being a half input, this one's going to be a full input. And the placeholder is going to be mobile, number, or email. And then this one is going to have the same thing, except it's going to say full input, and it's going to say new password for the placeholder. And the name is going to be password, and the type is going to equal password. The rest of these are going to be type text. Actually, let's go name new password. Bam. Jose, you are absolutely correct. The name should not be last name for this. It should be like something like number or email. Is that cool? That is absolutely correct. You should change that up. Good call. So that's all for the HTML we need for now. Actually, that'll be all the HTML we write for a little bit. We're going to write a little bit of CSS, and then we can start authenticating again so people can log into our application. It's going to look a lot nicer when we put some styles for the full input and for the half input. And we also make sure that down here, you give this icon a class equals material icons. And I'm going to paste all this into Slack for you. Ooh, let's actually do one more thing. In the footer section, put a paragraph tag that says and copy for copyright 2019, whatever the name of your app is. Conexión Incorporated. So you have a little copyright logo also. And that will be all the HTML we write for this app for the time being. Everything else on this page is going to look pretty normal. So I'm just going to save it here, and then in the next video we'll write the CSS and make sure all of our authentication services work. Cool?